You've talked about Twitter making it even freer and letting more people onto it. Is there a limit at all to who you think should be allowed onto Twitter?
Well, my aspiration for Twitter, or in general for the digital town square, would be that it is as inclusive, in the broader sense of the word, as possible. That it is an appealing system to use. So, I mean, ideally, I'd like to get like 80% of, let's say, North America, and perhaps, I don't know, half the world or something, ultimately on Twitter in one form or another. And that means it must be something that is appealing to people. It obviously cannot be a place where they feel uncomfortable or harassed, or they'll simply not use it. So, and I think there's this big difference between freedom of speech and freedom of reach, in that one can obviously, let's say in the United States, go in the middle of Times Square and pretty much yell anything you want, and you'll annoy the people around you, but you're kind of allowed to just sort of yell whatever you want in a crowded public place, more or less. But apart from this is a robbery, probably that would get you in trouble. So, but then that whatever you say, however controversial, does not need to then be broadcast to the whole country. So, I think generally the approach of Twitter should be to let people say what they want to do within the bounds of the law, but then limit who sees that based on any given Twitter user's preferences. So if your preferences are to see anything or read anything, then, well, you'll get that. But if your preferences are, well, you prefer not to see, comments that you find offensive in one form or another, then you can have that as a setting and not see it. And but I think one way or another, one needs to take the steps that that entice most people to want to be on Twitter and enjoy it and find it informative and entertaining and funny, and just something and useful, as useful as possible.
It sounds like you want to be involved. Is your plan to be CEO of Twitter? And if you do that, would you still keep being CEO of Tesla and SpaceX?
Well, I would drive the product, which is what I do at SpaceX and Tesla. So I drive the product and technology. Whether I'm called the CEO or something else is much less important than my ability to drive the product in the right direction.